Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Hey, Nick, how's it going? Feels like forever since I got a notification. Been busy and other factors. So, yep, sorry about that. I apologize for that. Just been busy, tired from work, other stuff kind of going on. Just kind of like put a bit of a dent in this month, big time. So, I apologize for that. Things are going a little bit better. I'm getting a little bit more back on track once again. Oof, wow, tea is still hot. I should have expected that. I just made it. Ouchie, ouch. Alright, but we're here now, and we are continuing with Eden of Grisaia that I started, I think, last month? Yeah, it's been a little bit. Oh, I don't even think I added it into the actual, you know, rotation. Hold a minute while I do that. Hold a moment. I don't think I added it into the games in play. Yeah, I did not. I don't have it in the games in play yet. There we go. Now it's in there. Perfect. Perfect. Oh man, I've been lacking on Extella. I gotta like dedicate a week to Extella just to finish it off. And then, you know, Hacker's Memory and Time Stranger, I'm slowly going through those. I really gotta pick up the pace with both of those games. I mean, goddamn, Time Stranger already has 3 separate DLCs out in the time since I started that damn game. I'm very slow when it comes to playing RPGs, guys. It should be obvious. Alright, everything's all in order there. We're good. So yeah, welcome back, everyone. We're continuing Eden of Grisaia for today. We'll try to get a little bit further. Just a little bit. Or maybe a little more. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So, the very brief recap of what has kind of gone on in Eden of Grisaia. Yuji is under lock and key by Ichigaya. He's being used as a bargaining chip to potentially get Heath Oslo out of the country. Potentially. So he's kind of being used as a scapegoat. Being blamed for an attack on an embassy. And he's been locked up, no way to contact him. All the girls in Mihama know he's missing after seeing the news report and are trying to figure out what the hell to do. They're only able to piece together little tiny tidbits. They can't call him or anyone really connected to Yuji directly because all of those lines have been tapped. And they've been pretty much told, don't call these numbers again. Or, you know, we're gonna do something about it. They've been given very scant information. They're piecing things together. One of the major things they're able to piece together after looking inside of his closet in his room was scrawlings all over the wall of ways to, you know, interact with all the girls and maybe help them out. But also something of like a... I don't know. Almost like, sort of like almost like a suicide note in a way. Basically saying, I've helped these girls out, I've done a lot of good. Am I allowed to die now? That kind of thing. What else? On the girl side of things, leading the charge to get info is, of course, Sakaki, because she sort of has the most connections. She's the most tech-savvy and is already in chat rooms to find things out, so she's kind of going a bit above and beyond to figure things out. Her biggest key piece of info she actually got from fucking the weeb that was on Yuji's Marine Squad, who has died and now assumed a different name. He's taken over a Japanese girl's, like, shop, like, food shop or restaurant, turned it into a weird maid cafe. But I mean, like, I guess they're married or dating or something. I don't know. Regardless, he gave Yumiko a crap ton of info to work with. Because he kind of has, like, a back door into Ichigai and the government system. Because he helped to set it up, and he kind of inserted his own little, thing in there that, you know, no one else knows yet. And I gotta turn the noise suppression on. There we go. I, suck a key, Yumiko. Oh. This man is a mega weeb, but apparently doesn't know how to say fucking names. How do you learn the entire Japanese language but still fail at, you know, saying probably sorta common names? Regardless, we left off right after Yumiko's meeting with him. And we're just gonna pick up from there. I think it transitioned back to, Yuji's, you know, POV. He's... the long and short of it with the, you know, the weeb guy was, yeah, there's no way to get to him, and even if you could get to him, you're not gonna be able to, you know, rescue him and get him out of there if he doesn't want to leave. And as it stands, Yuji doesn't want to leave. He kind of feels like his work is done. So now if he dies, he dies. Basically, now, if they want to rescue him, they have to convince him he's worth to be rescued. So, that's gonna be fun. Alright, let's load it up and, see where this takes us. Okay. Okay, I can see that. Perfect. Alright. With a harsh, unpleasant buzz from a speaker embedded in the ceiling, the cell's featureless door unlocked itself. Yuji had been sitting cross-legged on his bolted-down bed, leaning his head against the padded wall as he aimlessly exercised his ocular muscles. Okay, so he's just, like, what, rolling his eyes all around? Yes, I gotta exercise my ocular muscles. Or was he having a fucking nap? But in the moment that door opened, a voice spoke to him, and he opened his eyes. Yeah, he was fucking sleeping. Okay. The visitor who'd broken Yuji's idle, peaceful isolation was a man who'd previously introduced himself as Adam. As the two of them stared at each other expressionlessly, Yuji slowly uncrossed his legs and slipped his feet into the pile slippers he'd left lying on the floor's oddly soft floor. On the floor's oddly soft floor. Good job, Baron. You know how to fucking read. What happened to Major Haradera? I see. He wasn't dejected by the fact that JB hadn't come. A hearing might sound promising, but basically, it meant an informal court-martial which would communicate decisions that had already been made. He'd been given a number of questions that he could only answer yes to. Any statements or pleas on his part would prove to be meaningless. Whatever the final judgment might be, Yuji wasn't eager for JB to learn of it. To put the matter simply, he was feeling the same relief as a punk kid who'd managed to avoid having his mom come pick him up from police custody after some meaningless fight. Gotta learn to read better. Without any sign of anxiety or anger, Yuji obediently held out his arms for the handcuffs Adam had produced. There was no way to know exactly what Adam thought of this indifferent behavior, but after a few moments, he spoke again.
You're
just toying with us, aren't you? For starters, could you take off these handcuffs? Will you scratch my ass for me then? Got an itch down there that's driving me crazy. This was hardly the first time Yuji had faced a hearing or received disciplinary measures of some kind. Normally, such meetings were held in the small conference room on the second floor. The two of them boarded an elevator, and Adam retrieved an identification card from his suit. Slipping it into the slot next to the control panel, he proceeded to speak the name Adam Black into a concealed microphone. Having verified its occupant's identity, the elevator began to move in a manner contrary to Yuji's expectations. Wait, we're going down? They proceeded down a number of similar corridors, many protected by fingerprint and retina-based identification systems, and rode numerous elevators that took them both up and down. You think that just might be a way for, to confuse anyone they take down here so they're not sure exactly how far up, how far down, where they are in conjunction to everything? This might just be to trip them up. Especially if you have them, blindfolded or something. They won't truly know where they are. After about 20 minutes of patiently allowing himself to be dragged around by Adam, Yuji couldn't repress the urge to click his tongue irritably. I don't know how far you plan on taking me, but you're certainly being cautious about it. Who's it gonna be? Okay, the one that would initially ask questions during our interview? I don't know, they're the one that wanted the full fucking interview for Yuji to have gone through back in, Labyrinth. Well, I've heard rumors about them, sure. So they're the one that wanted the full interview. They wanted JB to do the entire interview with Yuji for promotion. But now they're the one conducting this interview. That a fact? Answering half-heartedly, Yuji turned briefly to glance back at the hallway he just walked down. Why don't you blindfold me or something then? True enough. Wouldn't want you falling in love with me. How long are you planning to keep me walking around like this anyway? Directionally speaking, it's in front of us. We're currently walking toward the place I was confined in. Something felt a little odd about that last elevator ride. Unless I'm imagining things, I'm pretty sure the car made a half rotation as it was moving through the shaft. Okay, they are just doing it to fuck with him. They are doing it just to make them not realize where they are in relation to anything, but Yuji's attentive. He notices little things like that. So they literally were just walking him in circles to bring him back to the same room. Hi, Elaine. How's it going? Oh, come on. You can't be serious. Precisely 30 minutes later, having been led around like a dog on a walk, Kazumi Yuji finally found himself standing before an impossibly thick, bomb-resistant metal door. One final time, Adam offered up his keycard, palm, and retina for inspection. With a heavy rumbling sound, the overlapping metal bolts that barred the door withdrew, and its lock was disengaged. Okay, we're definitely not in the same room we were just in. Doing good. I'm doing pretty good. Maybe a little tired, a little sore, a lot of throwing old metal into a bin today. But I'm doing good regardless. Yep. Gonna start yawning now, aren't I? Stumbling into the room at a shove from his commanding officer, Yuji found it unpleasantly cold. There was no hint of the current season in the air. The walls were concrete, painted white, and devoid of windows. The room had no furnishings whatsoever. The only objects in the room that really stood out were the enormous monitor embedded in the far wall and the surveillance cameras positioned in all four corners of the ceiling. No one's around. Hope she didn't head home after all the time we kept her waiting. With that, Adam walked up behind Yuji and opened a cheap-looking folding chair that he'd apparently produced out of thin air. Only one chair had been prepared. In other words, rather than meeting his interrogator directly, Yuji would presumably be speaking with them through the monitor in front of him. Not that I'm really surprised, but... After making him walk in circles for nearly an hour, they weren't even going to meet him face to face. Just how paranoid was this person?
Banana! Banana! Banana!
F you Frosty, if you mess this up. LOL. Sup, nerd?
Hey, Nevermore. How's it going? Thanks for the resub at 8 months. Okay, let's see what Frosty had to say to your resub. Hark! Owl of Nevermore, whose noble hand doth pledge support unto our baron's land. A subscription granted, verily, 'tis true. A patron's favor, shining ever new. May thy support, like Hamlet's soliloquy, inspire the bard and all his company. Oh, I love that. I love that. I'd like to say I could resist, but we know yeah, I know. You can't resist yourself. You gotta call me nerd. Every time. Every time. I wouldn't have it any other way. I would not have it any other way. I like this always sounds like a douchey D&D school nerd. Oh, what do I have Frosty set to for those? I can't remember which one. Let me check really quick. Should be custom celebrations. Oh, Shakespearean actor. That's what it's set to. For those ones, it's Shakespearean actor. Sure, that in the FU to Frosty after laughing once fuck up. Well, I mean, Frosty's only, as good as the guy who decides to use it, and I don't know, apparently I'm not that good. But then again, sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not, I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know everything about Frosty. I still like Frosty. Frosty is very handy, very useful, very helpful for getting shoutouts, like the shout out I'm giving to Elaine right now, one half of the Light Twins, who, as I have seen on their Twitter posts, has a lot of the stuff for their debut coming together. They've got ref sheets, they got some music, they've met their rigger, they got the rigging started, and everything is looking good. Get ready for that debut of their brand new models. And also just see the great fun they'll have over on just their channel as well. Please, they're a great and amazing friend. So please, please do check out Elaine. And now, what's good old Frosty got to say? Extra, extra! Read all about it! Elaine Light, a real live VTuber, is sitting in the hot seat with their twin from Light Twins VT. They're gabbing away about Jesus, gaming, and making pals. It's a real hoot, folks. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune in for some chinwags and good times. Chinwags? What's a chinwag? Is it... Is that a chinwag? Ever played the game Bully? There's a character in the Nerd Clique called Melvin who talks like that. I have not played Bully. I haven't played a lot of games. In all honesty, I have not played that many games, especially popular, well-known games. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I didn't have too many games until I started, getting my own money. And even then, the ones I did get, it was kind of like just the sequels or more niche stuff. I don't know, I didn't have like a super massive game collection until basically now. And now I got too many I've never, I haven't played yet because that's the curse of Steam. You can get all the games in the world, but you don't have enough time to actually play any of them all. There you are, total visual novel dork. I mean, yeah, I enjoy them. It's got such great gameplay where I just click a button to go next. Dude, it's amazing gameplay. You just click this button and the text goes along. And then you do it again, and again, and again, and oh, it's so invigorating. I do love visual novels. They're great. Ooh, back. Boop. There we go. Closed out Frosty. To be fair, if you weren't a Digimon fan and a visual novel dork, we never would have met. You were playing Digimon Survive when I found you streaming. That is true. That is true. And I needed that Digimon fix. But also at the same time, it finally came in after my buddy pre-ordered it like 3 years previously. So I just had to play it. And then it took me like 2 years to get through it. I'm very slow at playing games. Is what it is, though. I get through these games eventually. I get through them eventually. Alrighty. Snorting quietly to himself, he dropped into the chair heavily enough to make it groan. In response, the monitor on the wall turned on, and the lights in the ceiling grew dim. Adam turned on his heel and left the room. A moment later, the heavy door closed itself, and a series of gears shifted the metal bolts back into place. Ah! The air pressure in the room abruptly changed. Yuji was forced to swallow in order to clear his ears. What exactly is going on here? As his eyes adjusted to the bright white image on the monitor before him, he found himself looking at a number of shutters resembling those of a camera lens. Altogether, there were 10 of them, drilled into what looked like a concrete foundation. The shutters opened, and 10 drum-shaped pillars emerged from the floor, rotating as they rose. he had no real standard of reference, so it was difficult to tell their exact size. But at a glance, each one of the pillars seemed to be at least 2 meters in height. What the hell is this? In the moment that their rise completed, a low metallic thunk reverberated through the room, and Yuji felt the floor vibrate beneath his feet. The room he was looking at might be closer by than he thought. There were presumably speakers hidden somewhere. A woman's voice filled the air, almost as if the room itself was speaking. In the same moment, the 4 cameras in the corner of the room turned their lenses toward Yuji and focused on him. Ichigaya Special Duty Agent 9029. Kazumi Yuji. There's a genius locked up in the basement of Ichigaya who controls Japan's national defense. Yuji had heard rumors of the sort before. His company had more than its share of secrets, so there was always plenty of unfounded stories going around, and it wasn't rare for unremarkable truths to be embellished dramatically. Still, can't say I was expecting the professor in the basement to be a machine. Huh? I'm aware you helped me out on a few close scrapes. That's an odd way to greet someone you're meeting for the first time. Who are you?
Banana! Banana! Banana!
Nevermore.
Owloff Nevermore gifted a tier 1 sub to NickLumpkin14. This is their first gift sub in the channel.
Nevermore. Thank you for gifting a sub to Nick. And your first gift sub too. Wow. Thank you. You didn't need to do that, but I appreciate it. Alright, what's Frosty got to say about this one now? Forsooth, Owl of Nevermore, thy discerning eye hath seen the merit in our Baron's cry. A gift bestowed, a gesture grand and bold, more precious far than any pirate's gold. Okay, they're staying. They're staying. They're staying as that. They are staying as the Shakespearean actor. I like this. I like that. Did not see that coming. Neither did I. I definitely love this Frosty. Frosty, put money in thy purse. Oh, man. There's a lot more functionality Frosty has, but I have to, like, do a paid subscription for it. I might end up doing it after a few months, potentially, just to see if I think it'll be worth it. But right now, I'm happy with what we've got for the subs, resubs, shoutouts. So far, all that is great. It should even do some... I think it'll do some for when people raid in as well, which will be really handy. There's a whole bunch of other things that it can do. It can summarize what's been happening in chat, like, you can do that, like, every hour and stuff. There's a whole lot. Again, a lot of it's locked behind a paywall, but still, might be worth it. I wanted to give a sub on here for like a month. Y'all good peeps. I love y'all. Nevermore. I do appreciate it. Thank you. You're a good. You're a good peep too. Definitely. Might drive me up the wall and call me a simp half the time, but you're still good people. I know someone who does those hour summaries. They get really annoying and sometimes insensitive. Yeah, because the most it can go off of is just what has been said in chat in an hour span. So, yeah, that one could be a little eh. It might work if it's of like a much busier chat, potentially. Like, a larger streamer that has like a chat that's constantly going, it might work as a quick little summary. But I'll look into the other things later. I'll look at the other things and weigh whether or not I should even try the other options. Yeah, but calling you a nerd and a simp is our thing. As much as I roast you, you hold your own. True, very true. Yeah, because... Yeah, you call me a simp over something, I call it to you right back because you'd simp over the exact same goddamn thing. You're the kettle calling the pot black. Or pot... whatever the saying is. It's the pot calling the kettle black kind of thing. As a Christian streamer who thinks it a bit personal where everyone can talk and he does prayers for people needed this summer, he doesn't help. Okay, yeah. I can see that not being the super greatest, especially if they have it set to one of the, you know, specific bot things. Hey, when I'm a simp hypocrite, 'tis true. I guess I am too, because I'll call you out as a simp and you call me out on it right back, because, yeah, we basically we simp over the same things. Birds of a feather. Alright. What are you talking about? As the professor let out a resigned little sigh, thin, laser-like beams of light appeared from the four corners of the ceiling. At the point where they intersected and interfered with each other, a three-dimensional image containing phase information took shape. Only thing we don't was Daddy calling or your Twitter said different for... Yeah, because that was what the wheel said. Yeah, that's just... Yeah, no, sorry. This is not my thing. Kazuki? She's fucking alive? And working for Ichigaya? This whole time? Is this gonna break him? A little more? Kazuki? She's just alive. Kazuki's alive. So she didn't die in the forest. I guess Amane was onto something. She wouldn't have, you know, she wouldn't just, you know, be unplanned. She would have some way to get herself out. She's fucking alive this whole time. For all these years, she has been alive. What has she even been doing? Yuji's life went to hell when she disappeared. I still maintain you brought that one on yourself. The judging I would let go, but the wheel to make you say dumb shit was like asking for it. Stop it. This is one ugly joke. Kazuki... My sister died years ago. It's a lie. Why are you showing me this nonsense? What are you thinking?
相変わらず疑り深い子ね。周りを疑う前に、まずは自分を疑いなさいとあれほど教えたでしょ。まあ、あなたが信じてくれないのも理解できるわ。簡単に結論から言ってしまえば、私はあのバス事故の後、あの山の中で生き残ったのよ。
And you just never revealed yourself. For all these years.
詳細な経緯を説明するのは別の機会として、今許された時間で簡単に説明してしまうと、まあ、食べ物をめぐる壮絶な殺し合いの末に次々と人が死んで、結局私も重度の傷を負ったわ。さすがに私ももうダメかしらと思いかけた頃に、天音のおかげで救助が来たのだけれど、私の体はもう手の施しようがなかったのね。で、これは私も知らなかったのだけれど、私たちのお父様は私の脳みそに保険をかけていたのね。その保証金額というのが軽く億単位だったということもあって、体を失っても脳だけは存続できないかという計画が立ち上がったわけ。そしてその計画に目をつけたのが、日本における超法規的諜報通信網導入計画の発案者で。
So they saved her brain. All in an attempt to not pay the dad out? Who is this girl? Is she like Mirai or something? This is Yuji's older sister, who presumably died in a bus accident that Amane was a part of, and the sole survivor of, after everyone slowly started dying off or turning to cannibalism. She was supposed to be dead. Her being dead was why Yuji's life went the way it did, why it's been so shit, why he became, you know, into the hands of an internationally wanted terrorist, why he's even in Ichigaya to begin with. His entire life went to shit the minute she was presumed dead. But she's been alive this entire time. But going by what they're saying, it's just her brain? They like load her brain up into the Matrix or some shit? Stay back, I got a carrot knife, don't make me use it, oh my god. I think at probably it's been over probably about maybe 10 years potentially that she's been presumed dead. Like Ryuji Erika's situation. Maybe? But she's the older sibling. She was the genius of the family, the one that was making the family money. Then that bus accident happened and she's dead. They lost their source of income. Everything went to shit. Yuji accidentally killed his dad. His mom killed herself. He ended up an orphan, taken in by an international terrorist. He was left for dead. Then he got taken in by, oh my god. Then he got taken in and, you know, put back together, raised somewhat right. Became a fucking agent for Ichigaya in Japan, doing things for national security. Oh, and then we got to this point. But this entire time, she's been alive. Or, like, or at least her brain is? I gotta see how she fucking explains this shit.
私の脳はそのまま事故として偽装され、私の頭部を利用したコンピュータの開発に成功。その結果がこうして今現在の私につながるというわけ。理解できた？
So this is supposed to be the digitized brain of Kazuki? Hold on a second. When did we leave the waking world behind? Did you mix something into my food? Take me back to reality, please. I'd rather dream I was a butterfly.
まあこんな説明で納得しろという方が無理よね。でも生の脳みそを見せてあげるわけにもいかないし、見たところで脳の表面に名前が書いてあるわけでもないし。
If you're really Kazuki, then try to guess what I'm thinking right now.
それは有機物？それとも無機物？
Inanimate.
それは手に持つことができるもの？
Yes.
プラスチックでできている？
Yes.
話しかけると返事をする？
Nope.
それは電気で動くもの？
Yes.
それで時間がわかる？
No.
それは口に入れるもの？
Yes.
電動歯ブラシ？
That's right.
懐かしいわね、この遊び。あなたがもっとずっと幼かった頃、よく二人で遊んだわ。
Yeah, I remember. I really wanted to beat you, so I challenged you over and over again. Do you remember what I was thinking of the first time I got you to give up?
ああ、ガスの元栓ね。あれはあなたが私の質問で、それは火をつけるものと聞いたときに、いいえと答えたからわからなかったのよ。
The gas itself is what starts the fire. The valve doesn't.
それはへりくつだわ。
Yeah. You said the same thing at the time. The games that the Kazumi siblings had played as young children weren't recorded in any database. Especially given the detailed nature of her memories, it was difficult to suspect that some third party had just created them. Is that really you, Nichan?
疑り深い子ね。だ
Nichan?
ったら何でも質問してみればいいじゃない。
What's your favorite food?
ユージ。
Really is you. When they were quite young, for some reason he could no longer remember, Yuji had asked his sister Kazuki what her favorite food was. Without a moment's hesitation, Kazuki had empathically declared, Yuji, and then proceeded to nibble on his cheeks. At the time, he'd quivered with genuine fear at the thought that his sister might really might eat him. Just remembering this made him want to curl up in a ball of embarrassment. By now, it was growing increasingly difficult for Yuji to doubt the reality in front of him. He couldn't help but admit that this truly had to be Kazumi Kazuki. Ugh, my head's starting to hurt.
あら大変。でも大丈夫よ。人類は100年以上も前に頭痛薬の発明に成功しているもの。
It's wild to me to have like 3 badges in shadow and 2 months ago I had nothing. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy just how quickly you can earn badges, too. And hey, a lot changes in 2 months. Hell, a lot can change in just 1 month. A lot can change in a few hours.
後であなたの部屋に届けさせるから、医学の進歩に感謝しながら、用法用量を守って正しく服用しなさい。
Very thoughtful of you. How had this happened? What was even going on here? The question swirled through Yuji's mind, but nothing resembling a comprehensible answer came into view. Well, she was a certifiable genius, so I could see them trying to save her brain because she has a mind that doesn't come along very often. And of course the government would want it too, to use it for something. She's a fucking supercomputer now. There was one point in particular that made it impossible for him to simply accept the situation he found himself in. if you were alive and this close by, then why'd you wait so long?
ごめんなさい。でも、分かって、ユージ。私だって、こんな姿をあなたには見られたくなかったのよ。私だって、もっと早くあなたに会いたかった。私に体があれば、私に力があれば、ヒースオスロの魔の手からもっと早くあなたを救い出せた。いいえ、それ以前にあなたを渡したりはしなかったわ。ごめんなさい、ユージ。遅くなって、本当にごめんなさい。いつもあなたのことに気づいてあげられなくて。
She was
ご
like
めん
the
なさい。
she was like the one person that actually gave a shit about him when he was a kid. And everyone else ignored him, but she actually cared, so she would feel like shit that she wouldn't be able to help him. She technically knows everything he's gone through, and she couldn't do anything. That's gotta hurt. Stop it, Nate-chan. Simply complaining about the past wouldn't change the present one bit. But if you look toward the future, those complaints can become lessons that help you avoid repeating the same old mistakes. Where do you go from here? What happens next? Under your current circumstances, what's the best course of action? Hold on just a second. Would you... I'm starting to get seriously mixed up here.
受け入れなさい。ありのままの現実を。そしてこの私を。
That's gonna take some time. Not that I'm bragging, but I've been through a hell of a lot by now. I figured there wasn't much that could rattle me too badly at this point. But my long-dead sister was literally turned into a piece of national defense equipment? This is just too insane.
そうは言っても時間がないのよ。
What do you mean?
これからあなたが何をし、私があなたに何を期待するか。それを説明するためにあなたをここに呼んだのよ。
So they don't even get a proper reunion, really. This is what they get. It's like, yeah, I'm alive. Here's the abridged version of how it happened. Now you gotta do this. Sorry. We can't actually really truly talk.
それを聞く覚悟はある？
Oh, he'd fucking listen to his sister no matter what. Say anything you like. I doubt anything could surprise me at this point.
ねえ、ユージ。あなた、この国のために犠牲になってくれない？
Hey, I'm your AI sister. Oh my god. Alright.
即答ね。というか、怒らないのね。こうなる。
Well, JB did give me a general overview of the situation. I figured it'd be something along these lines. If I was speaking to anyone else, I'd probably be working myself up into a righteous rage at this point. But when it's coming from you, Kazuki, that's different. I won't question any order you give me, much less disobey. See, he will literally do anything for his sister. That's how much she means to him. He will do literally anything for her. What exactly should I do? What exactly can I do? Those are my only questions.
そう。いい子ね、ユージ。では、時間も限られていることだし、簡単な状況説明から始めましょう。ヒース・オスロが大量殺戮兵器を国内に持ち込んだという話は聞いているわね。
Yeah. I'm not clear exactly what kind of weapons, though.
確証がないから断言はできないけれど、おそらくは核異星体爆弾と呼ばれるものである可能性が高いわね。
Nuclear isomer bomb.
まあ、あえてどこの国かは明言をしないけれど、ヒース・オスロの所有する兵器開発企業に これまでに1000万ドル以上の研究費を投じた国があるの。
More like a major pain in the ass.
あなたも随分とお世話になった国よ。あまり悪く言うものではないわ。
Of course it was
彼もこれから
America!
勝ち続けるのに必死なのよ。
Of course it was America! Gee, who else would develop a nuclear weapons platform? Oh, wow, great. Great. Why not? Sure. Fucking hell. Anyway, how much of this nasty stuff did Oslo smuggle into Japan?
3000ミリグラム。
3,000 milligrams? Isn't that like 3 grams? How many actual grams is that? Yeah, 3 grams. Just 3 grams of, this stuff. What? Just 3 grams?
言ったでしょ、強力なのよ。そのたった3グラムの爆発規模は
Poof!
半径50キロにも及ぶわ。
Okay. So the next generation matchbox bomb everyone always dreamed of has finally been made a reality.
マッチ箱は少し大げさね。クリスマスケーキの箱ぐらいの大きさが必要よ。それにまだ実験の域を出ていない技術だから、どこまで実用化できているかも多少の疑問があるわね。
And Oslo's gonna use it in Japan as the testing ground, isn't he? He's trying to intimidate the government with a weapon that isn't even finished yet?
噂の威力も兵器の性能ということよ。
That is true. I'm gonna call it a night. I've had like 3 hours sleep in 36 hours. I'm so tired. Good night, nerd. Alright, Nevermore, you have a good night. Go to bed. Stay in bed. Like, even if you're awake, stay in bed, head on pillow. Get some damn sleep. But honestly, have a good night, Nevermore. Thank you again for the resub and the gifted sub. Appreciate it a lot.
そんな兵器が完成しているわけがないと無視できるほど無知な国ばかりではないでしょうし、ましてや研究費の大半を負担していた国ともなればなおのことよ。
Let me get to the point. Why did Oslo smuggle this stuff into the country, despite all the risks? What's his primary objective?
あなたは今そのオスロの一番の目的の上に椅子を置いて座っているわ。
Does he want Kazuki? Does he want the supercomputer that is Kazuki? What?
男の目的なんていつも同じ。体目当て。あの男は私が欲しくて仕方がないのよ。
So he wants Kazuki. They're the supercomputer that Kazuki has become. And they're using Yuji as a bargaining chip as a replacement. So, yeah, if you can't get we can't give you this, but we can give you back him. If he can't get the sister, he'll get the brother. Oh my god. Are you saying...
そう。彼の一番の目的は私。通信傍受型諜報活動網の根幹。タナトスシステムであるということよ。
Said the words right out of my mouth. Oh my god. Fucking Oslo. Is this Thanatos system worth that much to him?
タナトスシステムというのは、独立した分散管理型ネットワークシステムで、制限のない情報監視網に加え、 陸自や海事のシステムの管理運用も可能なのよ。世界中の通信傍受はもちろんのこと、あらゆるシステムに侵入が可能。
Yeah, I can see why that'd be, on a terrorist's want list. Being able to hack into any computer anywhere. Having control of Japan's, self-defense force. Yeah, just send them all over away from where I am, so the military's nowhere to be found. Turn off all their maritime defenses as well. Just get them out of the way so I can sneak in a lot easier. Yeah, no, you don't want one man to have that much power.
もっと端的に一番わかりやすい例えをすれば、この世のすべての暗号が意味のないものになると言えば理解できる？
I always thought you were a bit on the superhuman side, Nei-chan. It seems you turned into a genuine monster since the last time I saw you.
このことは秘密だから、クラスのお友達に自慢したりしちゃダメよ。
Oh god. If Amane finds out Kazuki is actually alive, I think she will literally have a meltdown. She still blames herself for everything that happened. She would fucking collapse in on herself if she found out Kazuki was still alive. I kind of hope she does, because I do want Amane to, just be happy too. I want her to get past all that. If she finds out Kazuki is alive, I think pretty much all of the guilt she has left will just finally vanish. Don't want people thinking you're a know-it-all, huh?
何でもできる女だと思われるともっと面倒。実際、噂を聞きつけた王子様が爆弾を片手に力ずくで私を手に入れようとしているの。どうしよう、ユージ。このままじゃお姉ちゃん、
Oh my
テロ
god.
リストに手ごめにされちゃうわ。
That's certainly outrageous. I'd love to do something about it, but it seems a bit much for me to handle on my own. Why don't you have the government help you out?
それができればあなたを呼んだりなんかしないわ。某英国にしてみれば、私という存在で日本に不必要な情報力を持たれても困るけれど、開発援助という形で日本の情報が現状より細密に得られる。日本にしてみれば、英国の情報技術能力、つまりはエシュロンとリンクすることで得られる情報は欲しいけれど、国内の情報をスキャニングされる不安と国防を英国に握られることに不満はある。私がテロリストに奪われるリスクは大きいけれど、英国にしてみれば所詮は他人の財布。すられたところで被害は最小で済むし、日本の資銀と導入計画は時期尚早とする反対派の口を封じることもできる。一方で日本にしてみても費用的な損失はあるものの、自宅のハードディスクの中身を他人に見られるような不快感から解放されるというメリットがあるという考え方もできる。要はどちらの国にしても奪われても構わないが、奪われたことによる利点が必要ということになるわけね。
Okay then. They don't mind if the system's stolen. Why'd they even create it in the first place then? Also, if Oslo steals a computer like that and misuses it, financial losses in the international pecking order are going to be the least of anyone's problems.
そこで今話し合われているのが、システムの 20% をオスロに提供するというだけはね。
Give him access to 20% of the system. He'd use that 20% to get the other 80 of it.
要求としては、オスロがタナトスシステムと同時に欲している風見有事を供出する代わりに、20% のシステム供与で同意させる。
We'll give you access to 20% of our amazing supercomputer system, and also give you Yuji as well. He would get the brother-sister combo deal. Oh my god.
でも20% とはいえ、できれば許したくはないというのが本音よ。
Sure. It's like getting pushed down, then offering the guy oral if he lets you off the hook. What a
あなた、しばらく会わないうちに随分と下品になったわね。
You're the one who made the analogy, okay?
まあいいわ。つまりはそういうことよ。いろいろな損得感情のある中で、できうる限りの防御線を張っておきましょうというのがあなたを呼んだ理由。
Did she set up everything just so he could be... Oh no, the government did that, but she's trying to use him... Okay. The government was trying to use him as a scapegoat to get in position as part of this deal, but Kazuki's doing her own little backdoor deal here to hopefully not let Oslo get anything. Okay. Well, she is a fucking genius, so...
そこであなたにやってもらいたいのが、私をおとりとしたテロリスト壊滅作戦というわけね。オスロが 20% の条件を飲もうと飲まざると、あなたをオスロの元に送り込んで、オスロを暗殺させようという計画なのだけれど。
Shit.
どうかしら。
Another assassination job, huh? You do realize it just failed to kill him the other day, right?
あなたにしても、諸悪の根源たるオスロとの決着は悪夢からの決別という意味でも必須だろうし、オスロが未だにあなたをコントロールできると思っていても、今のあなたはもう昔のあなたではないわ。あなたはこれまでに多くの経験を積み、多くの困難を乗り越えてきた。ましてや、今のあなたには私がついているのよ。十分に勝ち目はあると戦術師さんが出ているから安心しなさい。
Can't say I'm feeling all that optimistic myself.
あなたにしかできない仕事だし、あなたにしか頼めない仕事なの。お願いよ、ユージ。
Alright. I'm on board.
そう、ありがとうユージ。あなた、昔に比べると本当に変わったわね。
My master used to say, the value of a man changes based on what he experiences, what he sees, what he thinks, and the men he meets. I wasn't going to be the boy you knew forever, Nei-chan. Crying and complaining won't change a thing. To change the world, you have to start off by changing yourself. Yuji knew this, and he knew that, for all his talk, he hadn't really changed on a fundamental level. Over the years, he'd slowly learned to do things he couldn't before, but he was still blundering awkwardly through life, and he was still a coward at heart. What he needed now was the courage to take a step forward. I'll do what I can for as long as I can. Ow! But just as he'd reached this decision, the sound of a buzzer filled the air. The door began to unlock itself, and Adam's voice flowed through the speakers in the ceiling. Notice we're third-personing Yuji. Yeah! Yeah, we are. Yeah, this isn't from Yuji's POV, the narration anymore. Is it from Kazuki's? Is Kazuki the narrator here? It'll probably make more sense the longer we go along. But yeah, it's not Yuji's POV for these. I didn't... It might be Kazuki's? It could also be him it could also be someone else recounting this story somehow? Like, could this be like JB recounting what was going on well after everything's all said and done? As kind of like a debrief? Oh, Grisaia, you continue to amaze me and keep me on my toes. Sorry, just checking through. All right. Guess I need to be going.
残念ね。でも、またきっと会えるわ。
Bye, Nechan. Holy shit! Just... Oh my god, this is gonna take us so long to get through. I still like the percentage counter. We're 90% of the way through, guys. Oh, fuck. Okay. So Kazuki's alive. She's now a supercomputer. She's been with Ichigaya for this long. Oslo wants that supercomputer. They're only going to give him access to 20% of it and give him Yuji's as kind of to sweeten that deal. Kazuki wants us to go to Oslo anyway as part of the deal in order to assassinate him. Because she doesn't even want him to have 20% of her. Oh my god. I think we're now back with Sakaki. Okay. Okay. As the sun outside the window sank slowly into the west, casting long beams of reddish light across the express train's interior, Sakaki Yumiko was riding back in the direction of her dormitory and ruminating on the words of Jimmy Okada. Okay, so this is also not from Sakaki's POV. This is someone else's POV. Someone else is narrating this. Yumiko's personality could be charitably described as reserved. So her conversation with Jimmy, a man who was colorful to a degree that likely caused difficulties in his everyday life, had taken a significant toll on her psyche. Her life bar had gone down so rapidly that she might as well have been walking through a dungeon covered in poison tiles. Even so, she'd gained enough information to justify the cause. She now knew where Kazumi Yuji was. However, it would be difficult to see him, let alone rescue him. This was the primary cause for Yumiko's current brooding. Of course, it was an open question whether the words of this man who called himself Jimmy could even be trusted in the first place. A plan to introduce the echelon system into Japan? A project to cultivate cloned super soldiers? To be perfectly honest, it all sounded perfectly absurd. Were she to consult an investment advisor, they'd undoubtedly inform her she was being scammed somehow. And above all else, there was the possibility that Kazumi Yuji himself no longer had any intention of returning to Mihama Academy. Why was he so utterly devoted to serving his nation? Was there some compelling reason for this stubborn loyalty that they simply weren't aware of? In the face of this seemingly hopeless situation, what could they possibly do? I wonder if this is how Kazumi-kun felt when he first learned of our circumstances. Perhaps he had brooded over their problems too. But what had been his ultimate conclusion? As someone who had been saved by Kazumi Yuji, Yumiko knew the exact answer to that question. Remove the word impossible from your dictionary. You'll never make anything happen until you stop using it. Another favorite saying of his. There was a practical limit to what a group of mere students could possibly accomplish. But even so, to give up before they'd even tried? Would mean they hadn't really changed a bit. Having reached this conclusion, Yumiko looked up through the train window, allowing herself to picture Kazumi Yuji's face in the sky above. In response to this rhetorical question, the Yuji in the sky smirked slightly. Of course it would. Simple-minded as ever, Sakaki. She's getting fucking roasted by the clouds. Among her other talents, Sakaki Yumiko possessed a remarkable ability to irritate herself with persecutory fantasy, self-deprecating fantasy. Let's go with that. I don't fucking know, dude. English language. Can I speak it? Sometimes. Not all the time. However, by this moment, her mind was already made up. This is hard to watch. Gee, thanks. I know, me not knowing how word work. And I was about to use a sound alert. Oh boy. She didn't know exactly what she could do or how far she could go. But that also meant there was merit in trying to give it a try. First of all, she'd hurry back to the dorm and consult the others. She'd tell them everything, of course. But given the gravity of the situation, there was no need to involve anyone with a future ahead of them. Should any of them join in solely because everyone else was participating, they'd definitely come to regret it. And anyone not fully devoted to the cause might very well prove to be more of a hindrance than an asset. If necessary, I'll even act alone. Yes. Perhaps that would be for the best. Wait for me, Kazubi-kun. I'll save you no matter what. Tee-hee-hoo-hee. As she gazed up at the sky with a faint smile on her lips and something akin to madness in her eyes, Yumiko was suddenly struck by the sense that someone was watching her. Who's there? The hairs on the back of her neck standing up, Yumiko turned and looked around the car, but couldn't find anyone who seemed to be staring at her. Is someone following me? Cloud Yuji.
He keeps kicking me in the deck. Why? Why does he keep kicking me in the deck?
Eventually, the train rumbled into Mishima Cape Station. And the moment its doors opened, Yumiko hurried out onto the station platform as if to escape from her own queasy sense of anxiety. On the platform itself, there were a number of businessmen and housewives who disembarked from the train on the opposite track, but none of them appeared to be paying her any mind. Just to be on the safe side, she walked in the opposite direction from the gates everyone was heading for, and pretended to fish for change in her pockets by the station's ticket machines. But once she'd left the platform itself, there was practically no one to be seen. Was it just my imagination? As she furrowed her brow and carefully observed her surroundings, Yumiko thought she could hear the voice of Irisu Makina ringing in her ears. Oh my god. Stop calling people uggos. Fugly ugh. Oh my god. Yumiko knew that her mind was merely converting her own persecution complex into auditory hallucinations, but she still couldn't help getting angry. Uggo was one thing, but fugly was a bridge too far. It is the year 2026, and I'm hearing the word fugly. I know the game is, a few years old, but still, oh my god. Fugly. Jesus. In any case, she had no need of an admonition from her mental machina. Yumiko was well aware that this persistent oversensitivity to the gazes of others was one of her flaws. Letting out a long, soft sigh, she reflexively reached into her pocket, but her fingers found nothing. She'd left her box cutter in her dormitory room. Oh, good, finally. To Yumiko, that small knife was something like a security blanket. Simply knowing she had it with her helped to maintain her emotional stability. Oh, never mind then. Shit, she doesn't have it. There wasn't much meaning in the fact that she'd left it behind. Honestly, she hadn't given the decision any real thought. Since arriving at a deep mutual understanding with Kazumi Yuji, she'd been forgetting to bring that box cutter with her on a fairly frequent basis. Oh, okay. Whenever she was startled by its absence, she could simply turn to her side, and Yuji would usually be there. But right now, she had neither knife nor Yuji. Suddenly feeling rather uneasy, Yumiko once again glanced around the platform, by now nearly empty of passengers. She saw a businessman seated on a bench reading a paperback novel, a university student swaying to the music in his headphones, and a high schooler pouting slightly as she studied her cell phone. Not a single one of them seemed to be paying any attention to her whatsoever. She thought her box cutter dependency all but cured, but it seemed she was suffering something of a relapse. Trying to convince herself that this must have been the cause of her paranoia, Yumiko shook her head and began to make for the ticket gates. Is Kazuki watching her? In that moment, stepping firmly up the station stairs, Yumiko didn't yet realize that the platform's surveillance camera had silently turned to follow her movements. They are being watched. They could be being watched by Kazuki herself, but they could also just, be under literal surveillance from the government because they've already tried to contact Yuji twice. Now they're just keeping an eye on their movements to see what they're doing, and if what they're doing could eventually lead them toward trying to find him. And if they do, then, they become targets. I don't think they know how much danger they could potentially be in.
疲れたわ。あ、うん、お疲れ様。ってそうじゃなくてさ、なんか情報は得られたの？まあ、労力に見合う程度にはといったところかしら。バラバラに質問されても面倒だから、みんなを集めてもらえる？今から説明するわ。
Fair enough.
うん、わかった。あ、榊さんお腹は空いてる？晩ご飯は？ お願いできる？できれば、お蕎麦以外のもので。
Oh yeah, she had to have soba noodles from that weird maid cafe thing going on.
わかった。じゃあみんな呼んでくるからちょっと待ってて。
First, she found Makina asleep on the couch in the third floor laundry room, still clutching a portable game console, and shook her awake. Next, she discovered Sachi vacantly gazing up at the sky like a pitcher who'd just given up a walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth. And with some effort, managed to get her attention. Finally, as she began to boil water in a large pot in her room, Michiru shuffled sluggishly through the door.
なんか食べるものない？
Ah, Michiru. Never change. Never change. But maybe change a little bit because, holy hell, girl. You don't need to be bleaching your hair. And drinking pure vitamin C. And proceeded to beg for food with all the dignity of a starving, droop-whiskered alley cat. In the end, it took a good 30 minutes after Yumiko's return to the dorm for Amane to round up the others and prepare a quick meal for everyone.
お蕎麦はやめてって言ったのに。お蕎麦じゃなくておうどんだよ。麺は麺じゃない。
Noodles are noodles.
ご飯がないと飯食った気にならないチルチルのためにおにぎりもあるのよ。これを食べよ。あとエビ。
That could work.
そういうあんたはエビばっか食べてないで野菜も食べなさいよ。ほら緑色のやつ。
ふむ。私の名前はピーマン。所属部隊は緑黄色野菜。終戦後の最終階級は大尉だ。
Bell pepper of the fighting beta carotene. Oh my god.
なんか喧嘩強そうなピーマンだね。
In the dorm's lobby, which currently served as their operational conference room, Yumiko spoke to the others of the information she'd gained. She told them of the plan to introduce Echelon into Japan, and of the project for the creation of cloned super soldiers. In the 30 minutes it had taken for Amane to prepare dinner, Yumiko had managed to organize all of her intelligence fairly well. But with every word she now spoke, she felt as if its credibility was fading. Rattled by the absurdity of her own claims, she found it increasingly difficult to explain them clearly. The more she hurried and voluble she grew, the more she felt like a desperate liar attempting to deceive her audience.
エシュロンですか。それは初めて聞くサメですね。
Oh my god.
いや、サメじゃないし、なんでサメだと思った？サメでないとすれば、一体。通信傍受型諜報活動網のことよ。で、その辺の説明は長くなるから各自で調べてちょうだい。まあ、とにかくです。そのジミーさんという方の言葉をどこまで信じるかという意味では、ネット上で虚構の情報を集めていた状況とあまり変化はありませんね。
でも、そのジミーとやらはどっかのスパイなんでしょ？
元諜報員ね。というか、そこを疑い始めるとキリがないし、それに彼は一応風見くんの友人だそうよ。
He's certainly a friend of Juicy Yuji.
なんだろう。情報は少しずつ固まってきているはずな
I
の
know
に。
that wasn't his name,
なん
but
だか
whatever.
落ち着かないっていうか、ますます不安定になっていく感じ。
この感覚はプリンに似ている。
Huh?
またわけのわかんないことを。
私が昔入ってた病院ってな、朝ごはんにはヨーグルト、お昼ごはんにはプリンがついてきたのな。
Okay.
で、私はプリンのこととか何も知らずにうめえって食ってたのよさ。
Okay.
そしてそんな純真で無邪気なマキナを一つの真実が衝撃となって襲いかかる。いつものようにろくに飯も食わずにプリンばっかり食ってた私に、飯を運んできた看護師が何の悪気もなくこう言った。プリンは卵でできているのよ。
Uh-huh.
卵だと。
Why are you having a new type flash from that?
次の瞬間、手にしたスプーンを取り落とすほどの衝撃がマキナの心に稲妻のごとく走ったのよ。なんでよ。だって卵なのよ。
What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Pudding is made of eggs? Where are you go?
卵といえば目玉焼きとか卵焼きとか、なんかそんな味付けて焼きました的なプリミティブなものを想像するじゃんね。
Okay.
ところがだ、今我が小中にあるプリンを見ろ。なんだこの物体は。卵の面影なんてどこにもないじゃないのよさ。卵、それはひよこの元、いわば生命の塊。それをこうまで滑らかに改造してしまう人間の業、罪深き人工食物、それがプリン。
Uh-huh.
つまりマキちゃんはプリンが卵でできてることが怖かったってこと？
怖かったっていうか、卵っていう有機物をここまで無機質に変えちゃうことへの気持ち悪さっていうか。
Pudding is good, so I don't care. Especially butterscotch pudding. That's like the best pudding.
得体の知れない不快感があったというか。
でもあんたプリン食べるじゃん。
Oh, of course, it's amazing.
そりゃこの年になってみりゃプリンの作り方も知ってるし、見栄えを良くしたひよこの塊を食ってるような不快感も今はないのよ。
That's one hell of a way to put eating dressed up lumps of baby chick. Wow.
結局何が言いたいのよ。
Yeah, no, seriously, Machina makes sense.
なぜわからん。
Yeah, no, I don't get it.
要は今私たちが抱える言葉にしがたい不快感は無知から来る思考の齟齬に遠因しているということね。
Okay.
そうよ、そう言ってるじゃんけ。
Well, you didn't fucking say that.
言ってないわよ。
つまりな、プリン黄色いね。黄色いってことは卵？でも常識で考えて卵がこんな風になっちゃうもの？
Pudding is yellow. Yellow means eggs, therefore pudding is egg. For fuck's sakes.
だけど栄養士の資格持ってる看護師が卵だよって言ってるし、やっぱ卵？いやいや、ノンノン。今の私たちってプリンの黄色さに疑問を持ってちょっと信じられないけど。
Machina, just stop. You're not making sense. This is way too oddly specific and personal of an example. No, just... no.
これってやっぱ卵ですかと博識な看護師に問うている子供の状態なんじゃねえの？
信じられないと疑うのは子供だけで、大人は皆常識として知っているのではないかということ？
Oh, there you go.
プリンは卵だと言い張る看護師を疑って嘘つくなと糾弾するのは簡単なのよ。でも真実を知るためには固定観念の排除から始めるべきなんじゃねと思うのよ。
考古学とか正解の見えない学問では まずは仮説を真実として組み立てるのと同じように、新たな発見があったら書き換えていく方法を取るということか。
Okay.
それがベストとは言えませんが、現状ではモアベターといったところでしょうか。
何にせよ、お兄ちゃんの居場所が分かっ。どうやって？
Take action immediately. Yeah, sure.
仮に風見雄二は市ヶ谷の地下に監禁されているという情報を信用したとして、そこから先はそれこそ私たちにはどうすることもできないわ。
Yeah, what are five high schoolers gonna do? Breaking into a government building full of agents that are trained to kill?
そんなもん、金と権力に物を言わせて奪い返すのよさ。
Machina, you only have access to like 200 grand. Yumiko does not have that much money left now that her dad has lost, you know, his position at the school. And in the prefecture. And the company.
私もあなたも親との縁が切れた時点でお金も権力も当てにはできないわ。
ならば気合と根性で。
その連合軍を恐るるに足らずみたいな大本営的な考え方はやめなさい。
Do not kamikaze for Kazumi.
それに風見さんの意思を確認する前に行動するのはさすがに気が引けます。
情けない。お兄ちゃんがさらわれてから私たちがしたことなんて飯食ってばっかじゃないのよさ。
Well, it's all you can do right now.
時期尚早を口にするだけの作戦参謀。命令がなければ動くこともできないメイド。疑問と否定しか重ねない金髪。これが栄誉ある身幅の学生の姿なのか。
Yes! You're a student body of 6 people. The bar is in the fucking ground. I'm sorry.
ついでに声がでかいだけの無力な子供も付け加えておきなさいよ。何よ。なんだよ。
ほらもうご飯食べてる時に喧嘩しないの。
そういうあまねはずっと黙ってるけど、あんたはどう思うのよ。
私の意見は変わらないし、今ここであえて意見は出さないかな。
今はユージを信じて待つ。それだけ？
待つだけで終わる女になるつもりはないってのも追加で。それは私も同意見です。風見さんの命令を待っているだけで終わるつもりはありません。でも今はどんな行動を起こすにせよ、あまりにも情報不足ね。敵情を知らぬまま闇雲に突入した部隊がどうなったか、それはあなたも知っているでしょう、イリスさん。
They get wiped the fuck out. That's what happens.
あなたの憤る気持ちもわかるわ。けれどこの問題はすでに学生の立ち入る領域ではないのも事実。こんな時多くの実践を経験した風見くんならあなたに何て言うかしらね。
Think more like a coward.
慎重に生きるだけではダメ。臆病に生き残れ。生きてさえいれば次がある。玉砕は歴史だけしか残さない。
True.
今私の出せる結論はそれで全てよ。
いつまで我慢すればいいの？
Forever.
その時期は私が責任を持って決めるわ。
じゃあ我慢する。
Good.
っていうか、うざくてごめんよ。ユミちゃんのおかげでちょっと頭冷えたのよさ。
Don't worry. Don't worry. Apology accepted. Consider it payback for pissing me off at the that train station. What? Never mind. I fucked that up. I don't know how to speak half the time. Okay, guys, you know this. Under these circumstances, the girl Machina had been a year ago would have bitten her lip, turned sulkily away and stalked out of the room without even trying to hide her childish displeasure. But today, she had offered to be patient, then taken a step back to evaluate her own behavior. She'd even apologized for her rudeness. Without a doubt, she'd grown as a person. It was pleasantly surprising to see her behave so maturely, but it also made Amane sad to realize how quickly the girl had grown. Without really meaning to, she reached out and patted Makina on the head. Insert sound effect. Boo! Nobody really wanted to talk about being patient. They hadn't even reached a consensus on how to proceed, much less developed a plan. There was no choice but to grind their teeth and remain on the sidelines. It was hard to imagine this state of affairs would change abruptly in a day or two. None of them could shake an awful, anxious feeling. They might very well end up sitting here in Mihama, living their ordinary student lives, until it was simply too late. What's more, they had the sense that someday they might look back on their inaction and say, it was for the best. Kazumi Yuji would be gone. Nothing more, nothing less. Things would return to the way they were before his arrival. It really was as simple as that. Their normal lives would go on undisturbed, and eventually, a day might come when they could reminisce about their former classmate with smiles on their faces. However, clinging to the word might would be nothing but escapism. The outcome could just as easily be a lifetime full of bitter regret. And above all else, the idea of letting the hope they'd gained in this place slip through their fingers was far more painful than any of them had expected. Irisu Makina, at first stunned by Yuji's disappearance, was now lashing out in evident sadness and vexation. She was clearly in an increasingly unstable emotional condition. Matsushima Michiru, irritated by her own powerlessness, couldn't even take it out on anyone else. And for all her frustration, she lacked the courage to stand up and throw caution to the wind. Komine Sachi, for her part, was acting as cheerfully as ever, but sometimes she'd stop moving and stare off into the distance, like a toy whose batteries had run dry. And Suo Amane, knowing full well that Yuji wasn't around, continued to make his share of every meal as if it were some kind of ritual. None of them could fully hide their anxiety. If their eyes met and their mouths opened, they couldn't help talking about Yuji. And so, everyone said nothing, and time flowed quietly by. Perhaps they'd have to live in silence for now. Perhaps time was the only thing that could heal their wounds. It was certainly an option. If they could all just forget Kazumi Yuji, that would be an ideal solution. Sakaki Yumiko was observing her fellow students in a detached manner, but she too could only wait quietly for the hours to pass. We are now 11% of the way through the game. Ooh. As much as I want to keep going, I'm going to put a pin in it here for today and pick up next time. Just because I am also a little tired and I want to just get some other stuff done. But we made a nice little bit more of a headway there. Definitely. Fucking again, huge revelation. Kazuki is alive. She's a supercomputer now, but she's alive. Fucking game. But do not worry. If you are in the Discord, you already know the schedule. But for those that aren't, let me just get it up for you guys. So Monday we did Katawa with Katie over on her channel. I took the last 2 days off. Today was Eden of Grisaia. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will all be Eden of Grisaia at 6. So this is all Grisaia this week. So yeah, we're gonna get that back into the rotation. I'm still kind of debating with myself whether I should keep doing the schedules how I am, kind of do blocks of this week is going to be like this game, and then this game, and then kind of rotate it that way. Or do I just, you know... Oh, what the hell is it? Or do I make it one day is this game, or one day is this game kind of thing? Just make it like say, Thursdays are Grisaia, Fridays is Time Stranger, Saturdays is Hacker's Memory. Do I do it that way? Like, I'm not sure. I get good chunks away in the week, doing it like week by week like this, but at the same time, the next time I play it, like a month goes by. So I don't know, I'm gonna be kind of thinking, grab a water bottle or 5, you're gonna be reading for a while. I'm not surprised, we're only 11% through the whole game. I know I'm gonna be reading a lot. I've accepted this. I mean, this is supposed to finish off this trilogy, so yeah, not surprised at all. Yeah, I might post in the Discord again asking about that kind of thing. I might even post it to Twitter just to get other streamers, like, in general's, like, opinions. Like, would you rather do a schedule where you're doing you're focused on one specific game a week and, like, rotate each week what game that is? Or do you just make specific days a specific game? I am kind of seeing more with some other streamers that they just do a specific game per day. And I used to do that too, so I don't know, I might go back to that. If I do it like that, I'm gonna have to make sure I kind of make those days a little longer than this. I don't know. A lot of things to think of and figure out. I'd still make variety weeks. So yeah, I'll just kind of figure that out, but yeah, I'll just kind of ruminate over that for a little while. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me for tonight. So thank you everybody for watching, commenting, lurking, subbing, and for the gift subs. I appreciate it a lot, guys. You guys never have to do subs at all or any of that, but I still appreciate it a lot. We will be back again at 6 o'clock tomorrow for more Eden of Grisaia. I'll try to make it go a little longer if possible. I'll try. Try is the keyword. But until then, I hope you all have yourselves a great rest of your night. And I'll see you next time.